I would advise anyone to think of an interview as a performance, and a lot of the time people think of performance as not being the real them, and I would challenge that and say actually part of performance is peeling off the layers so that you come completely into the show, and in this case the show is the interview. So there's a sense of rehearsing, and rehearsing not in your head but out loud. So say your answers out loud and get a sense of the breath between the words and a sense of you really hearing what you're saying. So that when you're actually sitting in the interview and the adrenaline's pumping, you've got the knowledge and the confidence that you've said it before, and it becomes like a rehearsed, what I call a rehearsed spontaneity.
What's actually on the job description? What questions might come up? What words do I actually want to make sure that actually I really believe in, that I want to make sure the interview panel hears? And therefore, how can I actually structure answers before I go in?
I think it's really important that candidates talk about children in their interviews. They talk about the fact that they want to raise the standards of attainment of those children, but they also want children to enjoy their childhood and their school life. And if they don't enjoy their school life, then that child is going to come out somebody who's quite disaffected. So they've got to be able to always put back every question to what difference it's going to make to the children, not what difference it's going to make to them, and that is crucial.
Sometimes you get asked a question that you really don't understand, or where your mind suddenly goes blank for a moment. It is fine to say, could you just give me that question again? Or it's fine to say, I'm not entirely clear what you're getting at there. Could you repeat the question? Could you rephrase it for me? Or ask the question, do you mean? In order to clarify. That also gives you valuable thinking time as well. I also find it perfectly acceptable if someone says, can I come back to that question later, please?
One of the things that they don't do so well on is to admit that they're actually not sure about a question and they'd like it repeated, or it's not something within their current level of experience. And what they should simply say is, it's not within my current level of experience, and it's something that I would make sure if I got the post that I knew enough about.
It's important when you're being interviewed that you recognise that on the panel there are different people. So you'll have education professionals there, and then you'll have lay people there from probably the Board of Governors. So it's important that you don't descend into jargon that they might not understand. It's important that you include them in your answers, and it's important that you make your answers as clear as possible to the non-educational professional.
It's very important that if you're going for a senior leadership position, that actually the conversation is about what I have done and not we've done. Because the interview panel wants to actually know, okay, so if I'm going to employ you as a senior leader, what have you done to make your present school more effective? So therefore, what can you bring to our school to make our school more effective?
In terms of going for a leadership role, it's important that you can demonstrate that you can have an impact on the whole school. So you're moving beyond the impact on your particular class or tutor groups that you teach to having a strategic impact on the direction of the school, being able to be a leader when the head teacher is away, for example, and making sure that you're involved in things like school improvement and the strategic planning of the school so that you can encompass the vision that the school has and take that forward.